Hi, this is Alex Helmbrecht, the Sports Information Director at Chadron State College, and I'm sitting here this morning with Chadron State head football coach Jay Long. The Eagles had a successful trip up north to Black Hills State, resulting in a 43-13 Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference victory. For the most part, the Eagles controlled the game. If you would have looked at the score at halftime, you would have thought 43-13 wouldn't have been the score that you predicted for the outcome. The Eagles led just 14-6, but really poured it on in the second half. Scored 5 touchdowns in the second half, and really had a big day, particularly on the ground. The Eagles finished with a school record 495 yards rushing on 66 carries. And they also added 213 yards passing to finish with 708 yards for the game. It was the second straight week of going over 700 yards. So, Coach, I know you as the offensive line coach are obviously pleased with the 495 yards on the ground, but you're probably really happy with the way the offense responded after a tough loss against CSU Pueblo last week.
Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, when you lose a tough game, against Pueblo, and it makes you kind of reevaluate your goals in regards to our next rung on the ladder, what we need to do next, and you're nervous on how you're going to come out against your next opponent, because when you take a loss like that, it hurts, and you hope that it doesn't affect you. And I think it did affect us in that beginning of the game. And when you look at it, I thought that the first half was a little rough for us, and mainly it was because of our turnovers. And then the second half, the team came out, responded well, and really did a great job. You asked about the offensive line. I thought the offensive line played one of their best games this season in regards to running the football. I think we averaged over 8 yards per carry, which is an amazing job by the guys up front.
Glenn Clinton kind of stole the show. He rushed for 255 yards, scored 3 touchdowns, and he had 30 carries for an average of 8.5 yards per carry. He also had a few receptions for about 50 yards. So really another great day from Glenn Clinton.
Yeah, when you look at Glenn, I mean, we talk about him every single week. He is a guy that every week comes ready to play. And, he really punishes, defenses with the way he runs the ball. And he's such a downhill runner. And then he shows he's got some speed out in that open space. And he's a special running back and a guy that, our guys love to block for. And for him to have 260 yards, is that the most he's ever had, Alex?
Yeah, that's a career record.
A career record for him and a career high for him. It was a good day.
Looking at the stats, the Eagles dominated everything, total yards, special teams play, and did another good job on third down conversions. They finished 11 of 18, limited Black Hills State to just 4 of 16 on third downs, 36 minutes in time of possession. But I know the one that you probably want to fix is your penalties with 11 for 127 yards.
When you look at it, I think that at the end of the game, when we talked, as a coaching staff, I think the biggest thing we wanted to talk about was our turnovers. So we've had 9 turnovers in 2 games, this last 2 games. And we were doing very well in the beginning of the season with our turnover ratio. And in the last 2 games, we've lost that battle. And when you're looking at, what we're facing here as the weeks keep going, we can't continue. This has got to stop. The turnover stuff has got to stop. And something that we put an emphasis on. We're going to do some stuff different in practice to put an emphasis on, keeping the ball security.
It was the Eagles' first game in South Dakota since you were a player in the 90s. How did the crowd travel? What sort of atmosphere was it like?
We had a great crowd travel with us. There was one story. Connor was on the ride home from the bus. On the bus, I was visiting with some of the players. I said, "Yeah, we had a great crowd." And Connor goes, "Yeah, when normally when the offense is out and you hear the home crowd, which was the Yellow Jackets crowd cheer, you think something's bad." And he goes, "Actually, it was our crowd cheering because we just scored a touchdown." So we had a great following. It was a great atmosphere. Our kids competed well, and it was awesome to get the win.
Well, the Eagles will be back in action this weekend against New Mexico Highland. The Cowboys are currently 2-5 in the RMAC, 2-5 overall, 1-4 in the RMAC. But their last 3 losses have been by 6 points or less, including a 24-20 setback against Adams State University, a team Chadron State defeated a few weeks ago here at home. Coach, I know it's just Monday, but what do you know about the Cowboys?
Before we go to the game, next game, I want to just make sure that I acknowledge. I thought that our offensive staff, with Coach Stein, Coach McLean, both Coach McLean's, Coach Bresky, Coach Idens, and Coach Gunner did a terrific job the past 2 weeks. They've set a school record in passing, and then the next week they set a school record in rushing. and extremely proud of those guys. Extremely proud of how they went into the game and prepared. So wanted to make sure I said that. And then also special teams wise, I was excited about Zach Smith. Zach Smith averaged, I think, 41.5 on punting, and that's something that we struggled earlier on with, and I'm proud of him on how he's reacted and put together some good games.
So looking ahead to the week against the Highlands, Coach, as I mentioned, the Cowboys are kind of a team that like to air it out. They have a strong quarterback in Emmanuel Lewis, but really kind of one of those teams you don't really know about until you see them on the field. What have you and your staff prepared for?
They're a scary team, and every year they're a scary team. They are heavy transfer loaded, and they have some kids that can really run and really move. And when you look at it, I don't think the record really shows the talent that they have. I was just watching film of them versus Adams State, and they have some guys that can move. Defensively, you're going to see a 40 front, a 4-2 front. They do bring a little bit of pressure, and then they have the 5 DBs in the backfield or in the secondary. Offensively, they chuck the ball. They like to sling it. I talked to Coach Larson a little bit last night, and the other thing that they do want to run the ball a little bit more than they have in the past, but primarily they hang their hat on throwing the football.
Well, it should be a good game. The last year when these two teams met, it was one of the more nail-biting games of the year for the Eagles. They won in the final seconds, but the game really wasn't decided until Cole Montgomery came up with a big interception late in the fourth quarter. So it could be a good one for fans here to watch in Chadron. And once again, that's a noon kickoff. So best of luck to you, Coach.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. And I also want to thank all the fans for coming down and watching us play at Black Hill State.